What's going on, Grizz fans? It's Michael Wallace, Kelcey, Wright Johnson. 72 games are in the books. The play-in is in front of us. Grizzlies versus Spurs on Wednesday right here at FedEx Forum. Get your tickets at 901-888-HOOP or the Grizzlies.com box office. But Kelcey, before we move forward, let's look back and recap where the Grizzlies are right now. What did you think about how they finished the season? Obviously a tough loss at Golden State on Sunday, but a valiant effort to show how much upside this team has going into the play-in.
Yeah, they had a nice long winning streak, the longest active winning streak at the time in the NBA before that Golden State game ended up obviously losing that Golden State game. It was a heartbreaker, a tough way to end the regular season, but I think there's a lot of hope moving forward. And you heard from Ja Morant after the Golden State game on how he was proud of the fight. Dylan Brooks said he was proud of how hard they fought. And now I think they're all locked in. They've all tweeted that they're locked in at least for the next, hopefully, 2 games.
They do get a lot of rest now. And now you get to sort of practice, which is something that's been a foreign concept. When you play 40 games in 68 days since the All-Star break, no team in the league had a tougher slate than the Grizzlies. What are 1 or 2 things you would like to see them address before they get to the play-in?
I think this has been something that has been a constant chatter the entire season, is playing a full 48 minutes. Dylan Brooks, after the Golden State game, said they played hard. I'm going to quote him, hard as hell for 30 minutes. And then it kind of fell apart there at the end once, I don't want to say once he fouled out, but kind of as the fourth quarter moved on, that kind of fell apart. And the other thing that I want to have addressed a little bit is maybe the turnovers. They had a lot of turnovers. Golden State had 24 points off of those turnovers. So the Grizzlies just need to pay attention to the little things, pay attention to the details and take care of the ball.
I mean, that's key too, because it's not that the Grizzlies had a lot of turnovers. It's just the ones they had were so costly. Golden State actually committed more turnovers than the Grizzlies, but the Grizzlies had their turnovers capitalized upon. And when you're a young team, Ja Morant and these guys are still young, youngest team that's left in the field right now, they're going to have some growing pains and they got to grow up quickly. So addressing the turnovers is key. Also, limiting fouls. Now you're in a situation where you're going up against veteran teams and star players who tend to get fouls called for them. The Grizzlies don't have that luxury yet, so stay disciplined when it comes to that. First look at San Antonio before we get out of here. We went 2-1 against them, but we played them 3 times in our first 15 games. A lot has changed since then. What do you remember about that matchup?
I remember that JV was not in 2 of them. I remember that Ja Morant had 44 points in one of those games. And then a lot of the guys, this is a team that scores kind of by committee. They've got 3 guys who are around 15 points a game against us in those 3 games. So it is going to be, it's not where you go into Golden State and you're like, hey, we got to stop Steph Curry. It's going to be a whole team effort on the defensive end. And that is a scary thing, but I also think it's a good thing for the Grizzlies because they have so many guys who can defend multiple positions.
And what's funny is that this comes full circle. The last time the Grizzlies were in the so-called playoffs was 2016-2017. You know who they played in the first round? The San Antonio Spurs. Now they get the Spurs again. It just seems like this is inevitable when you have the Grizzlies and Spurs matchup, but it's a new school matchup between these 2 teams. A lot of new players here, but Greg Popovich was the tutor. Taylor Jenkins was the pupil. We'll see how that matchup goes. Is there anything else that we need to look at before we get to that game?
No.
Yeah.
But just let's lay this out.
Yes.
So they play San Antonio on Wednesday. If they win that game, they go on to play the
Lakers, Warriors, loser. Yes.
They play the loser of the Lakers, Warriors. The winner of that Lakers, Warriors game will be the 7th seed in the playoffs, locked in. So the Grizzlies have the Spurs. If they win that, they go up against the loser of Lakers, Warriors. So, they're taking on Steph or LeBron again if they're able to get past the Spurs.
So lock in the 8th seed, and then once you get that, the prize is 8-1 matchup, which will be Utah, which again goes full circle because you know who starts at point guard for the Utah Jazz?
Number 11.
Conley. So it all goes full circle as we talked about. We got plenty of content to get you ready for this game on Wednesday. For Kelcey, Wright Johnson, I'm Michael Wallace. Keep it locked on all of our Grizzlies coverage at Grizzlies.com and Grind City Media.